Hello all, welcome back. This is our next session where we will be discussing few more conceptual and tricky questions on SQL. Previously we have discussed few, and again I have collected few more of the most frequently asked interview questions or Viva questions, or you can say the most conceptual questions where students find difficulty in answering those. So let's get started without wasting further more time. We have the question set and I'll be executing all the queries in this link in live SQL. I'll be sharing this link in my description box and the question set as well. So let's move to our first question. So we have question number 1 in the screen. So basically we will be referring to this table for question number 1. Now what it is? Write a query to get the below output. First see the table structure out here, the data and the table structure. We have name and then we have different subject like math, English and physics. And the student name is like Jhonty and Lee, but however the marks are placed in different way. Like Jhonty, first it's maths, then null for the other two, then 90 in English and null for the other two. So this is not a good way to represent the data. So finally what we need is like to represent the data in a proper way, or a way that from where we can do our analytics. So we need the data to be displayed in this fashion. So for this we need to write a query. So what can be the query for to get this output? If you closely observe the data set, like only observe for Jhonty. If you see only for Jhonty, you can see maths we have 100, then these two rows are null, and for English only 90 and the other two rows are null, and for physics it's 80 and the other twos are null. In same fashion follows for Lee as well. So you can just think of like if we are getting the max value from this free row for each and every subject, we will get this desired output. So let's write the query. So we have this data set already present in student table. So I'll write the query, select star from student. So this is my data set. Now I'll simply write this, select name, max, math, max, English, maths, physics from student, group by name, and I'll execute this query. I'll find the output as name and the subjects are all in a proper way. Now we can just add an alias out here, maths, and then this one will be English and this one will be physics. And again if you execute the query, you'll get a proper output. So let's move to the next question. In the next question we have find the manager of Gibbs. So this is the table structure and we already have this table in our live SQL window. So this is it. Now from here the question says find the manager of Gibbs. So if you closely observe this, this is first of all this is a classic example of self join. All of us have some problem with self join. So let's just understand what is self join and how it operates. So this is one of the example. So we have the employee name, the employee ID and the manager ID. So basically you can see is like the manager ID is the employee ID only, but it's like for this person the manager ID is 2. So we can say for Jhonty the manager is Sachin, for Lee the manager is again Sachin, for Kumble it's again Sachin, for Warne and Gibbs manager ID has changed to 3. Now for Sachin we don't have any manager ID, so he is the, you can say he is the boss. Now let's write up a query to get the output. So the query is select. So what we have done is like we have self joined, like we have created two aliases of EMP table, as one alias as A and another as B, and in A we are storing the employee name, and in B we are storing the manager. Storing is like we are giving another alias as manager to the employee name column. Now see, select A dot employee name, B dot employee name, but this will be the manager, and again A manager ID from employee A and B, and we have self joined, like the manager ID of A will be the employee ID of B. Now if I am executing this query, this is my output. See, For Gibbs and Warne, the manager ID is 3, and for Lee, Kumble and Jhonty, the manager ID is 2, and accordingly the manager name has also appeared. But see, for Sachin, there is no manager ID, and so it's not appearing. Like for employee name Sachin is not appearing out here. So let's move to the next question. So the next question is, which is faster, mat view or normal view, and why? Assuming you must be aware of materialized view and view, I am not going into the deep details. So my question is, materialized view or view, which among this is faster? The answer is materialized view. Now why? Why the materialized view is faster? Because materialized view, if you know by the definition, it's actually storing the query, or it gets a physical storage, whereas view it don't have a physical storage. It's a logical thing. Like when we are like writing a select star from a view name, it what basically does at the back end is it fires a query that we have created to create the view. And for materialized view, there is no such query that fires every time. The query is already created and the materialized view is already created, and it is saved, it is there in the system, it's physically stored in the system. So every time we are trying to retrieve data from materialized view, we just go to the physical storage location, and from there we get the data. But every time we try to get the data from the view, it fires a query. There is a query engine that it fires a query, and there are query overheads. If there is join, then it will take much more time, and then the result comes up. So that is why we can say materialized view is faster. The next question, can we delete record from a table which has primary key column, and if record is in another table as a foreign key? So the explanation to this question is, let's say this is our table and this is another table. This is employee table which is having employee name and employee ID as the primary key, and this is department table which is having department as the one of the columns and employee ID as a foreign key, which is referencing data from this table. Now it says, can we delete this record from employee table? The answer to this question is no, because you see the employee ID that is present out here is also present out here. Now if you are deleting this row, how will it get treated in this table? So to handle this, Oracle during creation of the table, it sets its property as on delete restrict. So what it means is, like, if you try to delete this record, Oracle will not allow to delete this record. It will give you an error. So to explicitly, if you need to explicitly delete this record, you have to set the property on delete restrict to on delete cascade while creating that table. So if you set that property, then you can delete this record from the primary key table. Hope this is clear to you. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, what will be the output of the below query? So this is our next question. The query is select sum of Sal, department from DEP. This is the DEP table where Sal Grade then 200, order by DPT, group by DPT. Now most of the students, by seeing this query, will try to solve this. But the answer to this question is, the query that is given out here is wrong. Why? Because the order by clause will always be the last clause of a select statement. You cannot place order by clause before any other clause. Like the query will be after group by, then you can place the order by department. Let's just execute this query in our query window. So if I'm doing this, initially we have our order by before our group by clause. So I'll just omit this and execute this. So this will give me an error. Now what I'll do is, like, I will omit this order by and use this order by, and now I'll get the desired result. So as I said, never use order by clause before any other clause. Always order by clause will be the last one in your SQL query. Let's move to the next question. In the above DEPT table, employee ID is the foreign key and referring to employee ID of the employee table. can we have employee ID in department table which is not present in employee table? So what the question says is like, this is the department table and this is the employee table. Now it says, since this is the employee ID is the foreign key in this department table, it says can we have a row like this, HR and the employee ID as 100? The answer to this question is no, we cannot have this, because since employee ID is the foreign key and referencing to this employee ID which is the primary key in the employee table, so according to the referential integrity constraint, we cannot have a data which is not there in the primary key. So if we are trying to insert 100 in this table, this will not work due to referential integrity constraint. Okay, so let's move to the next question. To find the maximum salary of every department with grade A, is the below query correct? Select max of Sal, DPT, grade from DP where grade equal to A, group by department. So let's just write this query. We have the query, and if I'm trying to execute this query, this will give me an error, not a group by expression. So see, what it says is like, we have a group by like a aggregate function max, and then we have two columns, department and grade, but we are grouping based on department. So whenever you are trying a group by query, or if you are writing a group by query, always remember that along with the aggregate functions, the other columns that you are mentioning in the select statement should be present in the group by clause as well. So our question in this case is find the maximum salary of every department with grade A. So we don't need the grade, we can just omit the grade from here and can write the query. So this will give me a proper output, because as I say, like along with the aggregate function I have another column and that is already listed in the group by clause. If I have to add the grade column as well, then I have to add the same in group by clause as well. Now if I am executing this query, again this will give me proper output. So this is it for today. Hope you understood all the questions and answer. And if you have any more question that you feel like you are not able to solve or you are having some doubt, you can freely post it in my comment section. I'll work on those, and I'll definitely try to give you proper knowledge and proper explanation for those questions and answers as well. That's it for today. So we'll be meeting on next video. I'll come up with more questions. I have a plan on making such questions on C programming languages as well. So do keep in touch, do subscribe for more update. Thank you. Bye.